Hi, this is Jacob Sapochnick, and thank you for watching our video. In this particular video, I wanted to talk about tips and suggestions for 2012 H1B filing. As you know, H1B visa is subject to a numerical cap of 65,000 visas. April 1st of the year is when the cap opens for employers and applicants to file their cases. In the past year, we've seen an increase in denials and the amount of requests for evidence in H1Bs. And we expect 2012 to be an even more difficult year for H1B processing. One of the main problems that we've seen last year for H1B adjudications is the definition of a specialty occupation. What is specialty occupation? And how can you prove that when you file your case? Now, in many cases where it's a traditional position, like an engineer or an architect or an attorney, it may not be an issue. But there are other positions that are more broad, especially in the business marketing professions, where it's very difficult to justify an H1B position. And it's going to become even more difficult in 2012. Our recommendation, whenever you file a case that is not clear whether a degree is required, even if the Occupational Outlook Handbook says that a degree is required, is to show what degree is actually required, not just a general statement. For example, if we do a position for a public relations specialist, you have to show that other employers require a degree in marketing or in writing or in English. If we can show that and demonstrate it in our particular case, we limit the chances that an RFE, request for evidence, will be issued and increase the chance that the case will be approved eventually. So it's very important when the application is filed and you're trying to prove your point that it's a specialty occupation, make sure you document that section in your file in the case to show that you met that standard. We in our office actually have a separate section in the file completely dedicated to that point with case law, with evidence, to minimize the chances of getting a request for evidence. The second point that we've seen came up in the request for evidence and in denials is the employer-employee relationship. Sometimes we have small companies, startups, or companies that are in the business of consulting. In those cases, immigration often would like to know who controls the job, first of all, and second of all, whether there's enough work for the employee for the duration of the visa. If it's a consulting company where they're going to be placing the employee in a different location, we always require very, very documented petition, contracts, proof of work, signed orders by the other employer to show everything is in order. If it's a small company, we always require the company to show us the schedule, show us your contracts, show us the material of work, show us the itinerary of work, that there's enough information there to convince an immigration officer that that petition is actually genuine and the employer has enough work to occupy the employee for the duration of the visa. Another point that we've seen last year that came up in denials and requests for evidence is really the verification of location. Some employers either moved frequently or their records of incorporation are not the same as to where they are at this point. We always like the employers to document where the location of employment is, show documents from IRS, from the Secretary of State, from the city, to show that the location of employment consistent with what they put in the forms, to avoid any questions about verification of location and things like that. All in all, H1B visas are still very good visas for employees to work in the US with qualified employers. The climate is tough, with the economy being what it is, but with smart documentation, with careful preparation, we anticipate higher approvals for our clients and for clients in general that are trying to get those visas. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best in this H1B season.